Okay.
Is now back in session. Okay. So 6,
My knee's killing me. Can I stand for a minute?
I'm sorry,
My knee is killing me.
Oh,
Can I
you're
stand for a minute?
yeah, of course.
I left the meeting.
So we're back to the agenda. We're at 6A. If there was action to be made from our executive meeting, is there any action?
I have a motion.
Rebecca?
I move to terminate Ms. Reineke's employment to Sunset Empire Transportation District effective immediately. She is probationary and may be terminated without cause. Additionally, the issues we have justify her considered termination for cause. Ms. Reineke was provided the opportunity to address those issues, but nonetheless, her employment going forward would not be in the district's best interests.
I second the motion.
Okay, is there any other discussion?
I would like to clarify a couple of things.
I don't think that's not allowed. This is back. Yeah, right?
No, it's not about executive session stuff.
No. It's not your turn to speak. You had your turn to speak. So that's over now.
And there were, after talking to union representation, there were a
No,
couple
it
things
is.
that needed clarification.
No, it's, your turn to speak is over, so I'm sorry, but that's it. Okay, any other discussion from the board members? Okay, Mary, would you take roll call, please?
Commissioner Busman,
Yes.
Commissioner Alegria,
Yes.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald,
Yes.
Commissioner Nino,
Yes.
Commissioner Withers,
Yes.
and Commissioner Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion passes that Ms. Renicki's employment is over.
And
Okay,
just to let the board know that Foley complaint will be continuing and that Foley will probably award in favor of me.
we'll wait for that. We are to public comment. Does anybody from the public have anything to say? We have 3 minutes. Okay.
Since starting at Sunset Empire, I have seen some phenomenal drivers. I've seen a lot of improvement within what the district does now over what I've seen in the past, like before when I rode the bus as a youth, there was basically 2 routes. It is unfortunate that the district is taking the steps that it is in error. The investigation that is still underway will show that Jeff Hazen is the aggressor and engaged in egregious misconduct and has retaliated against somebody for reporting concerns. And the district has a lot of room for growth. And with how he's handling things, it will not happen. You have problems with high turnover of drivers. You have incidents with the buses, and it won't help the district go forward. And I would strongly encourage the district to reconsider with that or postpone that decision until after you have the investigation, the whole investigation involving Jeff and Sue. Because there was so much that after talking with union representation that even he had some concerns and clarifications that needed to be made. And even though an employee is at will, you cannot legally terminate somebody when they have filed a complaint against another for whether it's safety concerns or company policy violations and so forth. So ultimately, not waiting for your own investigation to be completed and not waiting for bullying to be completed only ends up costing the district more time and effort that could be put into increasing the efficiency of the routes and increasing the communication amongst employees.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, anybody from on Zoom?
What you asked them.
Is there anybody that is on our Zoom feed that has any public comment?
You can unmute yourself.
Okay. All right, moving on. We have the approval of board minutes from November 5th, the board meeting, and November 5th public session.
So I would make the motion that we approve the minutes as submitted. I'll second that.
Okay, I did have one question on page 2 of the minute. I'm sorry, can I back up on the motion?
We,
Is that for both?
we did for both,
Okay.
yes, both the work session and the regular minutes.
On the regular board meeting on page 2, just to clarify, because I'm not sure. C2 is currently vacant due to Patrick Preston, who is not employed,
Oh, my.
but he is employed,
Yes,
isn't that
he is.
correct? Okay.
I have that same thing.
That was the only issue I had. Anybody else? Okay, there's no other discussion. Mary, would you take a roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Bushman,
Yes.
Commissioner Langria,
Yes.
Commissioner Romero.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald,
Yes,
Commissioner Nino,
Yes.
Commissioner Withers,
Yes.
Commissioner Reed.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes for both.
Okay, and can we do reports? Does anybody have problems with the financial reports before the chair reports?
No.
So, okay, so let's do the financial reports.
Hello, really quick before I take any questions, I know like the payroll, part of it, the wages and taxes is looking kind of wonky, so, reason being is the way the pay periods cut off. So in the month of October, we had 3 of them that cut off, and so it adds that extra pay, that extra amount in there, so as we go forward, that'll even back out again. So, just wanted to touch on that really quick before we went any further. Any other questions for me?
it has everything to do with the calendar, doesn't it?
It has everything to do with the calendar. Some days it's my friend and some days it's not.
I would entertain a motion to approve the financials as provided.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Any other discussion? I'm waiting for Pamela. Oh, no.
No, Pamela, no.
If there's no other discussion, I
Also
would,
call her Grinch.
I would ask Mary to take a roll call vote.
Okay, Commissioner Bushman,
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Nino,
Aye.
Commissioner Langria,
Aye.
Commissioner Withers.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Romero.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Now we'll go back to the reports from chair and commissioners. I'm gonna go ahead and start, because normally I let you folks go first, but I just wanted to say that since we're at the end of the year, that I think we've accomplished quite a bit during the year. I think we worked together as a team, not just the board, but the staff and management, that we really do a good job keeping things on track as much as possible. And I do know we have hiccups, but I think that we also work through those hiccups when need be, so. It's been a pleasure working with you folks.
Ditto for
Okay, let's go Tracy.
My comments, in my time on the board, I've talked a lot about policy, but as a patron and a bus rider, I wanted to compliment the staff, both past and present, for their professionalism and where the rubber hits the road. So,
Literally.
yeah, and I thank all of them for that. That's it.
Guillermo?
I just want to say that it's been a pleasure working with this board, and it's you're a good team, and there's a lot of I like the interaction here, but especially the respect, the professional respect that we give each other. Thank you.
Rebecca?
I too would like to say that since I started on 2 years ago as a commissioner, I really did not know an awful lot about what was going on with the organization, but I have grown to really appreciate that this it works well. There are a lot of unsung heroes, and it really is a good team. Personally, you know, I roped my husband into doing the participating with the Veterans Ride Program, and it's really been wonderful to see how that has blossomed for, you know, that we've got an extra person on hand to do those rides. And it's right on target because my husband, Mark, has built a nice relationship with one of the individuals that he gives a ride to. Just as, you know, it was the program was designed to do. So it's kind of touched our family as well.
Emma?
I've found it inspirational working with this board. They've been prepared, and they're delightful as people. I am pleased to see some of the improvements, the time punctuality, which is very important for use as a patron, and for the dedication and the love of the district and the mission, and that every person that I met here is very conscientious and hardworking. And some have a sense of humor too.
Thank you. Charles?
I can ditto what everyone else said. I think very professional. Everyone seems to care to a point where they show up to all the meetings, which I've been on board. So sometimes we don't even have a quorum, but everyone seems to take our meetings seriously. And it's a pleasure. Another year. I think this is my 4th year now on board. And I will not be remiss to say that we don't give Sue Mary Parker enough credit for taking these perfect minutes. Rarely change. And being secretary is a tough job, as Rebecca will attest to. It's a tough one. But thank you, Mary.
I don't have anything to report, but I just want to say, since it's the end of the year, that it's a privilege to serve our public, and it's a pleasure to serve on the board with my fellow commissioners. I just wish everybody to have a safe holiday season. It's icy out there, so just hoping that everybody is doing well. And unfortunately, I won't be able to come to the holiday party tomorrow, so just hugs for everybody as if it was tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay. Continued business, the memorandum of understanding with Columbia Memorial Hospital.
All right, so at the board's November meeting, we went over the updated memorandum of understanding with Columbia Memorial Hospital. The board passed it, and the copy that you had didn't have the updated hourly cost or the fleet description, and so that's been done. And so what you have in your packet today is the final signed copy of the MOU. And as I said, I'd provide that for you. All yours.
So that's more informational than anything else. So we can move on to our 23-25 strategic priority adoptions.
Okay, so again, it's your November 5th work session. You had a discussion of the strategic priorities. We kind of went over, where we have been, year to date or biennium to date on priorities. And we had a great discussion on what you wanted to see for, the upcoming biennium that starts on July 1st. So we took all your notes and put them into this document. And, a couple changes that I made. It used to be they had first priority, second priority, and third priority. I just knocked that down to 2 with top priorities and then additional priorities, just to make it, I don't know, seem a little similar. It just, first priority seemed kind of wonky to me, so. One thing you'll see in there at the very beginning is the expand Lower Columbia connector route by adding a stop at the Portland International Airport. The grant for that has been written and it's in. Next month, it will be presented to the Northwest Area Commission on Transportation for their opportunity to provide any comments. And then it will go through the process that ODOT has established on the discretionary STIF grants. Now these, it's also, the best way I can say it, it's crapshoot if we'll get the grant because it's oversubscribed. Like most discretionary grants are, more people have requested more money than what's available. So we'll see how it fleshes out. But I wanted that in there, and you guys talked about your excitement of that November meeting. I think it's important that we have it documented, so we've got your appreciation for that expanded service. The rest of them are things that the board talked about. I added a couple of bullet points between each one. Just wanted to make sure that you guys were okay with what I wrote in there. It kind of helps me keep organized as well. We've got the overarching call, like, for instance, the emergency plan, and update the emergency operation plan, with those different components, medical emergencies, accidents, behavioral emergencies, and fuel supply emergencies that we talked about. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to the board and see if you have questions.
Do we have to have a motion to? Yeah. Okay. So I would entertain a motion to accept these. Do you see?
I would so move that we adopt the goals set for the 23-25 session in our priorities list as stated.
A second?
Second.
Thank you. And discussion. Deanna?
Thank you. I just want to confirm that we can add or take things away from these if throughout the biennium we deem it appropriate, right?
Yeah, and I think that's a great idea, like Pamela brought up earlier, is it really should be a fluid document. No policy is set in stone. The board can do what it likes to do. So that's perfectly fine.
Awesome, thank you.
Am I supposed, what do you want to comment?
I'm
I'll
just
throw
thinking.
one out. No,
Just
I
making
actually, I'd be an addition, but we can't do that now.
We'll do it later if we need to.
So-
Okay. All right, Mary, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Bluschmidt?
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald?
Aye.
Commissioner Romero?
Aye.
Commissioner Reed?
Aye.
Commissioner Leglia?
Aye.
Commissioner Withers?
Aye.
Commissioner Nino?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And the legislative advocacy policy adoption. Do you have a copy of that?
Is that in the packet?
I think it's blue. Is that it?
No.
That's a little light.
That's where the basis went to.
It was a little light.
Blue in my pack.
Wow,
It was in our last pack.
my apologies.
Shall,
What we
do we
just-
have time to
So we just bump it to
January?
Yeah. I have no clue.
What are we? talking about?
Legislative,
11B, the strategic priorities adoption.
11C.
There's 11C, I'm sorry.
Which we talked about at the last meeting.
Okay, all right, so we'll move that one to January. And we will go to the new business and the SDAO conference.
All right, so Mary sent out an email or multiple emails about the conference coming up in February. Haven't heard back from everybody. So those people that we haven't heard back from, we need to know today. So we can do one of two things. We can get you registered, but more importantly, we can get you rooms, because those fill up quickly. So
I do an
Mary,
update?
you can
Just a little update.
take it over.
So I did hear from some of you, and so I did make arrangements for you to have a room there. Haven't registered you that yet completely, but one of the things that Rebecca and I were talking about was that you do have the opportunity to attend virtually. You do not have to go to attend it. So it is being offered virtually if that is another option for you. But I did make reservations for everyone that's contacted me so far and an extra room in case. So
I thought I got the extra.
you do.
Okay.
I made it for everybody and you have the extra room.
But you get mine, you're out.
Yeah.
Okay,
Rebecca?
pardon me?
I thought I emailed you back.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Go ahead,
So,
Rebecca.
and I had one question about that. You'll ask, okay, so the convention, the conference starts on the 9th, right?
Right?
So you have us arriving on the 8th,
Yes, I do.
and it ends on Sunday.
Yes.
What time on Sunday does it
Usually before noon.
Yeah, like
Right after
midnight.
breakfast.
end? Okay, 'cause, old people like me don't travel home in the
Exactly.
middle of the night. How does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know that it snows in Sunday, right? A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot of snow.
Potentially.
It snows a lot in Sun River. So,
And you're on the bottom floor.
all right.
But you all have 2 queens, so the bottom floor, 2 queens, so that's a little safer than.
And the district's providing transportation.
I suppose. Yes, yes. I'll need to know who is going to carpool with us.
Rebecca.
my comments pertain to that is that I get a lot out of SDAO. I want to participate. But I changed my mind about, I would like to participate in it virtually because I really don't like the idea of traveling in the winter specifically to, that location because it really is, and it's a long drive. I have a lot of trouble with my hips and osteoarthritis, and a 5-hour drive is kind of debilitating for me. So I will change my mind about the actual travel to the location. So if you could change that for me, Mary, appreciate it.
Okay,
So why are they holding it in February in Bend, Oregon?
so I can go skiing.
Because they get really good rates for for the conference center and everything.
And it's always in February too, right? That's-
Yeah, and it alternates between, Bend or Sun River and then Seaside.
And Seaside.
So this is the year that is.
That's not pedestrian friendly when it says do not cross. And
Well, this is Sun River, which is not Bend, you're way out of Bend, it's 25 miles out of Bend.
And I totally understand it because, my husband has worked for a organization that, vegetation management people that was regional. And in all fairness to people who want to participate, it can't just be about the I-5 corridor, where the great populations are. You do have to get out to the hinterland a little to accommodate other locations, but this time around, it's kind of rough on us.
it's 25 miles outside of Bend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's, one of the good things that came out of the pandemic is we've got the Zoom platform that we use and it makes virtual meetings possible.
Oh, okay, all right. I can do virtual.
Okay,
Put me in for virtual, please.
I think I'll do virtual too.
okay.
Somebody's going with me,
I'm sorry,
no one's going with me.
Um,
I'm going.
Oh,
I'm just thinking about it now. So it starts on the 9th for pre-conference. Those are in the evening, or it's also an all-day thing?
All day.
All day for pre-conference. And then the conference starts full on 10, 11, 12, correct?
10, 11.
10, 11, and then
10,
12.
12, just a bit.
And
12
12
is
just in the morning.
Right.
If we decided that we're driving and we are not doing the pre-conference, when would be like our last minute to tell you so that you can cancel those nights or?
I have till the 23rd of December to cancel these. Okay,
Okay,
and I've made them all for starting on the 8th,
Okay.
going through the 12th.
Thank you.
okay, I'll change my mind again. I'll go, you two are going in person?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go in person.
there you go, man. Come on, man.
Oh, come on down, right
Is this a van is going?
I'm going to opt to take my own vehicle
Me too.
because I've got
I'm
some relatives I'd like to visit that live in that area.
Do you want company?
Well, we're gonna be over there, so we're gonna be near there.
Oh, okay,
So probably we're gonna be south of there,
Yeah.
in Klamath Falls.
You and I can probably,
okay,
I'll talk to you, but yeah, I would be glad to take you.
okay.
Charles,
I'm gonna be in Klamath Falls, pretty close.
And that runs through the 12th, correct?
yes.
To the 12th.
But a little comment about the conference. It's now December and there's no agenda. I know they put down all the people and some of them, I know, okay, but to not have an agenda by this time is not,
It's up.
It's posted, it's posted.
It's posted. It is posted on the SDAO
Yes,
site now.
posted.
I don't know, it was probably a week ago. Yeah, the sessions,
I've seen
yeah.
It's online.
So
incompetence on the computer.
they had it. I just don't, I didn't think it enough.
You don't have a hard
Anyway,
print.
I'm gonna check in with all of you again and I'll let you know,
Thanks, ma'am.
Okay,
that we're up to date, et cetera.
okay,
All
I
right.
retract that statement then.
Okay.
Which one, Pamela?
All right, you guys, moving on. I'm late for work already, so let's just,
You know the owner.
I know.
You know the boss.
Staff contacts, we had talked about that and we have them in our packet. Is there any comments on those?
Nice to have.
Yeah, very nice job.
Was this, our question, was this in response to, if there were after hours or weekend
Right.
issues, then?
Yep.
And would you like to just run this past us, Jeff, just to explain, like a
Sure.
scenario or something?
Yeah, and it stemmed from that one time that you had that person that contacted you with an issue, which I can't remember what it was, but, and I don't remember, I was at a meeting or somewhere, but normally I'm very available, so obviously I want the board to call me first
Okay,
and then go down the list. If I'm unavailable, then contact Jennifer, our chief operating officer. And then Mary would be number 3, and then Jason would be number 4. And odds are you'll get a hold of one of us. And we can, if we don't answer right away, we may text or call right back.
okay, that's good to know
Yeah.
that there's, we have a variety of members.
Yep.
Thank you.
You bet.
Letter to the Oregon Department of Transportation regarding the intersection out at Highway 30 and Hillcrest Loop. And Jeff, do you want to take that?
Sure. Pardon?
No.
No, this is actually in the community of Knappa.
Oh, this side.
This side, yes.
And last month, there was an unfortunate accident where a young lady was tragically killed as she was crossing.
She's crossing the interstate, crossing the highway?
She was crossing the highway, yes. There was no sidewalks there. The only device on that intersection is flashing yellow lights, and that's it. Flashing yellow for the highway, flashing red for the Hillcrest Loop, both sides. You know, and we've heard from our drivers, you know, that drive the Lower Columbia connector, some of the riders are, you know, they're taking their lives in their hands when they cross that highway to try to get to the bus stop at Knappa Pizza. And so the speed limit on the highway there is 50 miles an hour. You know, the rest of the highway is 55 until you get to Knappa, then it drops to 50, and that's it. Which isn't much of a decrease. So I drafted a letter for the board to consider, to be sent to ODOT to share the district's concerns, the board's concerns. And I'll leave it with any questions you may have.
Charles, it's the,
Well, that's the little, the other.
Pamela?
And before we discuss, can I introduce this?
Oh, go ahead.
I would like to move to approve this and authorize the board chair to sign,
I'll
to
second.
submit this. So,
We have a motion and a second. Pamela?
Okay, in terms of decreasing the speed by 10 miles, it's nice in theory, but I don't think it's going to be effective in terms of the road. It will help, but I think I would suggest have a double flashing. Some cities, you know, because they're gonna go 50 miles an hour. So if you had a double set of lights, and so say certain number of miles before the crossing, and then at the crossing you have lights going both ways. Is that two ways?
So advance warning,
Right. Because
Like traffic pattern change ahead, don't they do a sign like that sometimes to, when there's been a change?
or to do pedestrian crossing. Because they just don't look for pedestrians in general, and then you take a road like this, they're not looking for them at all.
Did you say they were talking about
That's from just
lights like down by?
how cities have tried to,
yeah, rapid fire.
so that's what you want to say. So
For the
you're,
public of changes.
But-
yeah. Okay,
Tracy?
we are making, I think, a good suggestion in this letter in dropping, making the suggestion from 50 to 40. And I'll take the example of Westport. Westport also has people that will dart across from the mini mart and the restaurant and vice versa. There is no marking. There is warning lights, but there is no markings. But
Actually, in Westport, there's no lights.
there's no lights.
There's no
Yeah.
lights.
So, but they do have a 40-mile-an-hour speed zone. You are on, and it does warn it that it is going to change, and it does change before the intersections, any intersections. So I agree with your intent, Pamela. I just don't think we would get ODOT to change in that regard.
well, I'm going for the positive here.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So the other,
Deanna?
I just have some suggestion on the wording, so if anybody else still has ideas for the solution, I'll wait input.
Charles?
I think contacting them concerning the concerns there is due diligence on our part. I think, I know how states sort of work with this sort of thing, and what would be perfect would be a light there, but that's millions of dollars in order to do that, or whatever it is. I think it's due diligence on our part, but in the end, there's no foolproof way to keep people from walking across a highway. Even if you put it 10 miles an hour, the freeway's not gonna, people driving on the highway are gonna slow down to 10 miles an hour. But I think it's due diligence to say it, to bring this up to the state, but the idea they're gonna, in the end, they're gonna do what they wanna do.
Pamela?
and there's, people feel, many drivers feel that if there's no painted crosswalk, that it's illegal for the pedestrian to cross. So even if it isn't necessarily an effective way to slow someone down. If you take that road often enough, you know, this is a crosswalk. And it's really disheartening to read that they weren't in the crosswalk. Oh, they're dead, by the way, but they weren't in the crosswalk. But that is to give drivers, habitual drivers, I think that's the right usage, a notice that this is a crossing.
I think that it is a good thing to ask for what we think is needed. Will there be immediate results? No. You know, we've a group of people have been working on some, you know, there, if you guys know Seaside, you know, in front of the old high school. You know, there was nothing that, at first there was a crosswalk, well, first there was a mini mart, then there was a crosswalk, and it was very dangerous. And, you know, but over time, with a lot of people talking about it, you know, it actually now it's a lot safer, but it was very incremental in how they developed that. And I think that's the nature of, you know, ODOT. But this is the squeaky wheel, and I think we need to, I'm really appreciative that this has been written. And at least it's bringing it up, and I'm hoping, we should encourage other people, whoever our partners in this regard, to submit testimony on it also.
I'm pretty sure that the board's representative for the Northwest Act or Northwest Area Commission on Transportation will carry this at the next act.
Point
He
doesn't,
will. Thank you,
point
Jeff.
doesn't go that way. Point doesn't go that way.
No, our bus does.
Just us.
Deanna? Wording?
Wording.
We're just-
Alrighty.
Before you do the wording, could I just address, you know, you gave me a really good idea talking about the advance warning, you know, signs in advance. One thing that I've seen and experienced in the state of Washington that really gets my attention is there are certain highways that when you're approaching an intersection, it's probably intersections with problems, you know, like this. They actually have those rumble strips in the lane going across, and boy, that grabs your attention. And I think including that, you know, as advanced
Yeah.
warning systems such as the rumble strip and or lights too would be your sign.
Yeah, because at least
Good suggestion.
to get a less expensive
Yeah,
way, and that could be immediate,
Lighting.
as far as I understand,
because it grabs my attention, so.
and your tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it too. So if we start, dear Mr. Jablonski, then the first one, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners of Sunset Empire Transportation District, I'm writing this letter to share our concerns about the safety of the intersection of Highway 30 and Hillcrest Loop. Right after that, it should say something like, this is the location of last month's fatal accident, or maybe instead of saying last month, saying the actual month. Like, this is the location of the fatal accident on that month, the month of
Okay.
November 2022, where a pedestrian crossing the highway was hit by a vehicle and was tragically killed. And the same one, as you may know, we operate, that's all good, the riders, that's all okay. And then on the second to last, I guess, it says this area, that starts with that. This area has a speed limit of 50 miles per hour, which we feel is too high. Then it would be better if it says, we strongly recommend, so that it's not too high and highly. We strongly recommend that the speed limit is reduced to 40 miles per hour, like the community of Westport, and maybe adding what we've discussed about the stopping or, you know, things that are not in there. Then I suggest that instead of saying we would like to see, that we say we also suggest installing a pedestrian crosswalk with wrapping flashing beacon lights. And then maybe getting rid of that installed at the end there. Surely the reduction of speed in this area will add only a few seconds of travel time, because it's not here, to vehicles driving or traveling along this stretch of the highway. Those are my suggestions, thank you.
Those are good suggestions.
So would you like to propose an amendment to my motion?
Yeah, how do I say that?
He just did.
I will concur to the amendment.
Okay,
I
we have
second.
an amendment from Deanna to change the wording in our letter here, and we have a second from Tracy.
Okay. Can Tracy second his own motion?
Mhm.
Because I did the motion. He
You
did
made
the,
the
he did the original, now I made
Okay,
the.
gotcha. You usurped your.
Okay, any discussion, other discussion on the changing in the words, wording? Okay, we have to, first we have to address the amendment, and then we address the original. So, Mary, would you take a roll call vote on the amended
amendment.
motion?
Commissioner Alegria,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Romero.
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Booth Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Nino, sorry.
Yes.
Commissioner Withers.
Aye.
All right, motion passes on the amendment.
And then we will take care of the original motion. Would you do a roll call on that one also?
Yeah. Commissioner Alegria,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Romero.
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald.
Aye.
Commissioner Booth Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Nino.
Aye.
Commissioner Withers.
Aye.
Okay.
Motion passed.
When you get that retyped, let me know and I'll come say it. Okay, moving on to the executive director's report.
So I just noticed that I made a little error. We were up 20% in October with ridership, so that's very encouraging. Of note, the Lower Columbia Connector just had a tremendous holiday week. And I think I shared that with the board via an email. The ridership that we had during the Thanksgiving holiday was incredible. We get the daily report from Amtrak of the tickets that they've sold. And then they also give us a separate spreadsheet showing how many tickets they sold in a 7-day period that updates every day. That 7-day period rolls. And I was all excited on that Monday before Thanksgiving when that report said that they had sold 48 tickets for the next 7 days. A typical 7-day period, we have, Amtrak sells 15 to 20 tickets. So when it jumps up that much, that caught my attention. I was all pumped up. And then the next day it went over 50. And then the third day, that would have been Wednesday before Thanksgiving, it jumped up to 63 tickets that they sold.
Can I ask a question? What do you contribute that to?
The holiday travel.
But I mean,
And more people are
this is
aware of our
typical.
service.
This is a seasonal bump.
Yep.
But it was way higher than it has been
Yeah.
previously.
Yeah, even going against last year's numbers.
You
Tongue Point is back in session now, and we saw several of the Tongue Point kids that bought those tickets.
you can hope for that, some residual hangover from those high, maybe some first timers on that, and say, let's do this again.
Yep.
My next follow-up would be is, are they gonna have it open before Christmas, because it's the same as the roadside open? They think they will?
Yeah, I think we'll have another big bump too.
Do you think the road will be open, because they're not gonna wanna go to Nassau or whatever, all of
But
it.
no, the Highway 30 is going to be opened on Sunday at 4 o'clock to
Completely,
24-hour flagged.
okay.
It'll still be reduced down to 1 lane, but there will be flaggers, but everybody will be able to get the bus around to go.
Start Sunday.
You don't have to go around to
Sunday at
Mesa.
4 o'clock.
Sunday at 4. Yeah, so we'll start on Monday, returning our Lower Columbia Connector bus on Highway 30, so we don't have to go around. So, very excited about that.
Pamela?
I was wondering, Jeff, if you could find out that the Greyhound station was next to the Amtrak station in Portland. It's gone.
Right.
So that it would be good to know, one, where it is.
Well, it's it's by the Amtrak station, but there's no
There's
building.
nothing
No
It's-
signage.
It's just a sidewalk.
over the overpass,
No, it's by,
you know.
if you were to walk out of the Amtrak station and turn to your right, and forgive me, I don't know the name of the street there. It's just on the other side of the station. It's right by the station where you would see all the tracks that go through
Okay.
Union Station. It's right in front of all those
So
tracks.
what happened to it? I mean, that is a big loss.
Cost reduction by Greyhound.
That's more than, okay?
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's kind of like when they quit doing service out here on the coast. It's cost reduction.
So there's no recourse to like put in a smaller building?
That's a Greyhound question that we don't
So that's
deal
just
with.
Greyhound property?
That's Greyhound's.
It was their complete, that's how they got rid of their old station.
But the sign, there's signage, right? I mean, there's signage.
No.
There's a
It's just
small
the way
sign,
the Greyhound.
kind of like our bus stop signs. There's a sign, they have some, little A-frame. The last time I was there, that's been a couple of years ago, they had a little A-frame.
And there wasn't an outcry in Portland?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
I just wanted to comment as a prior ton point transport person, that I really, as we get better awareness of our services, it is a very good thing because there were some pretty lonely meetings out there for some of our clients. So it's pretty in the wilderness type looks. So everything that we can do to make that a big prominent thing, I appreciate.
So the last thing I just wanted to mention was, it's in my report, is this table from the 5311 formula allocation that I was involved with at the state level to reset the distributions. One of my priorities was to make sure that the tribes were also impacted by the allocation, because previously they were getting $100,000. And that's it, and that's just nothing as far as transit goes. So fortunately, that was incorporated into it. So I was happy to see, I mean, it's not a huge increase, but for instance, Grand Ron went from 100,000 up to $270,000, so I was pleased with that. We went from 1,102,688 for the current biennium we were in. We'll see north of $1.5 million for the next biennium, so that's a good thing. Tillamook really kind of hit the jackpot. Their current 5311 allocation is $870,000 basically, and they're getting an extra $1 million. So that's huge. So anyway, it was good to be a part of that, and our voices were, from the committee that I chaired, were listened to and incorporated into it. So very, very happy about that. Any other questions for me?
Okay, thank you, Joe. Jennifer, are you still with us?
Ballard box.
Oh, yeah.
There she is.
She's muted.
Here I am.
Nice to have you back.
Yeah, thank you. Does anybody have any questions about my report today?
I just wanted to give you a shout out for your two mechanics. The decision to procure the necessary parts and handle those repairs internally. That was really good to read about that. Good job.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. We're pretty proud of our mechanics.
Anybody else?
I would just concur with that, Jennifer, to have two local people step up, I guess is the word I would want to use, and not have things to go the normal procedure of leaving the bus and try having it towed.
Yes.
Speaks highly, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. We're pretty limited in a rural area as we are, and they've taking on the big task of trying to do it themselves instead of towing it to Ridgefield or Portland. So we're pretty proud of the mechanics.
Dana?
Thank you. I was just wondering if the rerouting of the Lower Columbia connector due to the landslide, thank you. Are we back to normal or is that still being worked on
We have to do the altered route until Sunday.
until Sunday?
Monday.
Right. Yeah, then Monday we'll be back to regular service.
Cool.
It
And-
will be delayed because of the flagging though.
Got it.
So we won't be able to stay on time.
Did it add too much time to like that detour or?
Yeah. It added probably a good 45 minutes and 100 miles round trip.
Wow. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Well, I do have one question. The next to the last paragraph here on the Lower Columbia connector, just something to help me better understand the riders, maybe their motivation for taking the bus, could you just give us an idea of, the diversity of people that choose to use that service? Just trying to
I'm
figure
not
out what the ridership is.
right. The only thing we would be able to look on would be the purchase tickets. It's mostly traveling from Portland to Astoria, and then vice versa, probably to go back home. I'm assuming for family reasons because of the holiday.
The other thing we'd be able to tell you is male or female.
Okay, and just out of curiosity, who's choosing to, for a variety of reasons, but if it's not something we are privy to, well, then we'll just speculate.
I mean, the tongue point was a good boost.
Okay. Yeah, just I guess as a marketing, it's like, what's the motivation, what's encouraging people to take that bus?
Battery.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Is Nicole on?
Nicole's not able to be with us today. Nicole is our new paratransit supervisor. She had another obligation she had to do.
Okay.
Our energy's frozen.
Jason? I don't see Jason.
Yeah, hello board, how you doing? Thank you very much for everything that you all do. So I'm here if you need me. Any questions?
Hold on just a
We may
minute.
not be recording.
Hold on just a minute. I don't know why my computer stopped sharing the TV stopped sharing my screen. I've got Jason on my screen. Okay, go ahead and just talk. That's fine.
Any questions for Jason? Anything you want to add to your report, Jason?
No, it's pretty good. Just back kind of doing what I'm doing here instead of not the interim paratransit supervisor anymore. Thankfully, they got Nicole in that position and she seems to be doing just well.
Right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Move on to Mary Parker. Is that right?
How about Kathy?
How about Kathy? I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
he's
how
on
about-
vacation.
Okay.
All right, now Mary Parker.
Okay, well, it's been kind of busy. A lot of changes, a lot of recording and a lot of going up and down and putting stuff in the shelters, with jobs and the Rosa Parks and but this has been really busy. And our schedule changes for the holidays and our meeting changes for the holiday or for this month and stuff, but yeah. This is I have 3 big shelves put downstairs to organize down there, added 2 great big shelves from our storage unit that we're gonna have downstairs to get organized downstairs and yeah.
All right.
Just working away.
I have to say this every year this time. I will say it again this time. I really appreciate the Rosa Parks postings.
Yes.
So I told you guys before, I actually live that, so it's not something I read in a book. I actually paid in front of the bus and gone and got on the bus and back. So So I've actually lived that life and experience. So to me, to see how small a transit district does that yearly on Rosa Parks Day, it's an old man's touching. Thank you very much for doing that. Because I didn't read about it. I actually had to do it.
Yeah,
So
right.
I wasn't brave to Rosa Parks, so I got him back.
Well, this year, I put the Spanish translation beside the English, and when you put them together, it was really moving because it made it even more.
Yeah.
It brought a whole lot of more feeling to it and people to it because it happens with many nationalities too and everything.
Thank you.
So it really was moving. So there's a board that I put up on the front seat of the buses, if you haven't seen them. And then Jeff had seen this, I believe. Where were you when you first saw you were at a conference somewhere, or maybe you saw it online.
No, I saw it on one of my trade magazines, so, but Mary, from that first time we did it, Mary's really, each year, just stepped it up even better, so, and to the point now where drivers are asking, where's my Rosa Parks sign?
Yeah.
You know, so it's become part of the culture.
Means a lot. I can't.
Yeah, so we reserve the front seat. And
Yes.
so when everybody gets on the bus, they see it, and then there's some handouts to go with it. But it's moving. It's just really moving.
And we've actually, oh, I'm sorry,
Oh, I was just gonna say, we're probably gonna go in the same direction, is that, have we put something like a little story in the paper? Or do we have a little sound out of some kind every year?
I sent out press releases a week before.
yeah,
Okay,
we
great.
posted on.
I always try to get everything out there a week, so when it comes, then there's some explanation, and there's been a little story that's gone out before it, but yeah. And then on our Facebook, and so I did post, what's here is what I posted on Facebook, but what's on the bus is big and yellow, bright, has bus colors on it. The bus that she was riding on was yellow and green, so I stick with that theme.
I actually forwarded on my, those of you may want to do it, I forwarded to my friend group. I think we can get that word out like that, it comes out on our.
You shared with them?
Facebook.
Yeah, it's a share available, so I share it every year, and it's, I figure if it goes out to my friends, everyone should send it to their friends, because it's, educate people, let them know what we're doing as well, so it's twofold.
David? I'm also talking about the Rosa Parks initiative because as some of you may know, as when I was a rider, when I first moved here, seeing that on the front of the bus was the thing that made me fall in love with Sunset Empire Transportation District and wanted me to serve for it. So seeing it every year always moves me. And then seeing it in Spanish next to each other.
It's really cool.
Because it's also an opportunity to teach our newer immigrants to say, like, we're all part of the same struggle. Like, there's a lot of people that generationally have done their little bit of trying to make things better and more fair. So I commend you on improving on it every year and trying to make it better.
The one thing you may see, like if you're traveling and you're in another city, you may see other transit agencies recognize this on a different date. A lot of transit agencies do it on her birthday.
Yeah,
We chose to do it on the day that she took the stand.
yes.
And so that was important to us. So, but just so you don't get confused, you may see it on a different date somewhere else.
All right, thank you, Mary. And moving on to Sue Farmers.
Sue is on. Apologize for the CD.
Are we still recording?
I'm seeing everything here,
Yeah.
but I can't share my screen.
Sue, are you still on?
There, wait. Unmute yourself again, Sue, sorry.
There you go, how's that?
There we go. Okay, we can hear you.
So Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you enjoy your holidays and thank you for all you do. So do you have any questions?
No.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to. Thank you, Sue, and thanks for all the work you do also.
Well, I've had like 11 interviews in last month, so we are moving forward. We are progressing.
right, good. All right,
I have one final thing.
okay, thank you, Sue and Jeff.
You know, you guys showered, Charlie, sign this up.
Oh.
Stuck
sign.
You guys showered a lot of, compliments on the staff. I couldn't do my job without our staff here, but I really couldn't do it without a supportive board like we have here. You guys have just been tremendous to work with. I appreciate you stepping up and volunteering for the district. You do great things. So you're a big part of it. Thank
You too, Tracy.
you. Oh, Mary.
Mary, the holiday party.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, forget.
What is we
I My fellow board members have reminded
It's
me.
like you get a gift for someone and you don't know who is gonna get it, and they don't know who's gonna
I
get
was gonna
it.
go to Fred and try to find the way.
It's meant to be,
Not a literal way.
it's meant to be kind of a spontaneous, wild and crazy gift.
Okay, any objections to adjourning the meeting?
I move we adjourn.
Meeting's adjourned.
Tracy, this is the 1 o'clock bus.